Yahe? I'm not Yahe. Jeremy? Yahe just texted that he's going to be a little late.
Yeah, Jeremy just stepped away. I think he had to use.
I'm back.
Okay.
Well, we only have you and Hazel, so we need Al still. And well, Al said he wasn't able to make the meetings tonight, right? So, but he did text me earlier asking if they're virtual. So we're just waiting on, I guess, oral.
Hold on a second, Jeremy. My earphone's not working.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
And can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Um,
Hold on 1 second. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yep, we can hear.
Yeah, I just joined.
Why is this phone not working?
Hey, how's everybody doing? Really sorry for dialing
All
in
right,
late.
I don't. Originally, Al wasn't going to show up tonight, but then he texted me that asking if it was fully virtual, and
Okay.
I don't know where Oral is, so I don't know if you want to wait for. You want me to call Oral, or
Do we have
just
Hazel?
have Hazel and Veronica?
Hazel, Veronica, me. That makes it a quorum, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that makes us a quorum.
yeah, unequivocally.
Okay, do you want to reach out to Oral for? We'll wait and give it another minute. I
Yeah,
apologize for being.
Harriet, can you call him? I gotta pull up the agenda. Forgot about that. I already started live streaming just to not deal with that later, or play at that. Yeah, Harriet, can you call Oral or Chris?
I'll call him. Hey, Jared. I spoke with Oral. He's going to join momentarily.
Okay. He's in Yahoo. You want me to? You want to start?
Yeah, let's get started.
Okay, I'm recording. Do you want me to share the screen or the agenda, or do you want to do introductions first or whatever?
You can put the agenda up, and it'll be quick because we have to.
right.
Let me know
So
when you get started. I can. You're recording, right?
yeah, so it's December 15th, 2022. This is the Executive Board of Community Board 11 meeting, and it started at 6. There is a quorum. It started at 6:11 p.m. We have present the chairman of the board. Al could not make it tonight, as far as I know, and then the other executive board members, Veronica, Hazel, and Oral Stockbridge. Oops, wrong button. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we can see it. All right, so we can get started, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, you have a quorum.
All right, so all right, perfect. So thank you for doing the introductions and the start. So I'd like to vote on the October 2022 meeting minutes. We did not meet in November. So a motion to approve the October 2022 meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? Any objections? Abstentions? All right, motion passes. Thank you. So we have two items that we have on our agenda tonight, which is the staff office hours and the staff increase requests. So we'll start with the staff office hours. Just wanted to discuss with the committee. My plan was to ask the staff start in February to be in the office full time. That gives them, a month after the holidays, just in case there's a spike in anything. And until right now, because I did confirm with the DP's office, if the staff can go in person, full time in person, they said yes. They recommend it. They're encouraging all the boards to do that. This is as of my meeting with the VP when I met with her back in September. So that's that. What does everybody think on, the committee? Hazel, Veronica, and Oral?
Well, I know that this is oral, and I know that Jeremy sent out a survey on the process of meeting indoors. I mean, in person or remote. And I think that one of my problems with meeting in person, if we had remote also.
Oral, I just want to interrupt you. We're not talking about the meetings. We're talking about the staff going into the office to work out of the office. Right now, usually only one person is in the office. It's either Jeremy or Harriet or Chris.
Oh, okay.
So we're looking for all three of them to go into the office full time starting in February.
Oh, understood.
And,
Okay.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's the BP's office is, mentioned that during our meeting, in my meeting with her in September. She's encouraging other boards to do the same.
To meet for the three of them to meet in the office full time.
Yeah, so they would be there 9 to 5 or 10 to 6, whatever the schedule they set. They can stagger the schedule to make it work.
Yeah.
Basically what they did prior to COVID.
Okay. is an option to do either, like on some days they can do in office and some days they can do remote, or is it just always either or?
The VP's office is encouraging us to go back to normal.
Okay, because I know that some city agencies like transit, I think they have 1 or 2 days they meet remote, and the other days they have to come into the office. So I know other city agencies are giving them the option to 1 or 2 days to meet remote, and then the other days they have to be in the office, and they decide what days they would like to be remote. So I don't know if that's an option also.
Hazel and Veronica, what do you think?
I don't know. I think that if they feel comfortable going into the office, I mean, COVID still has not gone away. So I don't know how comfortable they're going to feel, all three of them being in the office at the same time. I think it's worked out okay. I mean, it's not mandatory, right?
Well, we would, in a way, make it mandatory for them to attend in person. I mean, the office is big. They're more than 6 feet away from each other at least.
Right. I'm just saying what I mentioned. It's not the same thing. What I mentioned that the option was, and some agencies are doing it. I forget what other city agencies are. Like for example, Transit is choosing to do remote Fridays, so everyone can, if they can go in the office if they want to, but the option is because it's there, they can work remotely also. But it's only 1 or 2 days a week, and that's it. But they have to be in the office. They have to come to an agreement to be in the office, or everyone in the office at Transit Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday.
In a quarter mile.
Okay. And for Veronica, what do you think?
It sounds like the BP's office is trying to get everybody back in full time, and eventually she's going to make it mandatory. But if it's not mandatory right now, maybe we could start with them going in 3 to 4 times a week and having that option for 1 or 2 days remote. My job does that now. People are required to go in 3 days a week and be remote 2 days a week. Maybe we could start it off like that. They're eventually everybody's eventually gonna have to go back into the office and be around each other. Like you said, it's a big office, but maybe we could start it off a little slower instead of just making them go back in 5 days a week, right? All at one shot.
Yeah, that
Because I
sounds
know-
reasonable to me.
Okay, because I know a lot of the days we do have meetings. Some days we don't. I know Fridays we don't for sure. So I'm okay with having Fridays, but one person should still be at the office. I think just to have the office open and not shut. So maybe we can do, like you said, 2 days a week, where each staff member can telework.
Right.
The office remains open 5 days a week.
And there should always be like you said, there should always be somebody in the office, and there should be days where 2 or 3 of the office members are actually in the office together, just to start it off slowly.
Okay, so let's say they have the option to telework twice a week, and the minimum at the office is 2 people in the office minimum. But if someone takes leave, let's say someone's sick and they're on leave, and only one person will be at the community board. So is everyone, did that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, so I'm gonna call for a motion to request that the staff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt, but if you don't mind, do you mind if we chime in at all, or no? Do you want to?
I was gonna allow it part of the discussion, but maybe, you know what, good point. It's good you interrupted me there. So what we can do is, Jeremy, you can say what you need to say, then we'll go to the gallery session. Then after the gallery session,
Yeah.
we'll vote on this item, and then we'll go into executive session to discuss the raises.
Yeah, I put on the agenda, I put motions at the end, because of what happened at leadership. Not just staff hours, but I was even thinking for the minutes, but hopefully nobody has any objections regarding the minutes from the public. So do you want me to give my 2 cents now or later?
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Yeah,
So-
we'll start with you, then we'll go to the gallery session.
Yeah, and of course I want to give Harriet or Chris the opportunity to chime in as necessary. Yeah, I mean, I feel like in some ways, it's not about the pandemic anymore so much as this is the future. And it's like, to be honest, it's how I've been able to cope with inflation as of late. Because it's sometimes a bit of a trek for me, for what it's worth. And I mean, I don't want to get too personal, but trust me, it's been a challenge, coping with inflation. And I mean, I think the pandemic has proven our ability to work from home, right? Like, or that it's not an issue, but there's definitely issues where there's coverage is needed, and I like the idea better of like 2 people in the office versus 3. Yeah, I mean, Chris, Harriet, anything you would like to say? Yes, no, maybe so.
Harriet, go ahead if she has to say anything.
Harriet,
I
and
find
then
it
Chris.
easier sometimes to work from home when I have a lot of stuff that has to be done, that there's no interruptions. So working from home is definitely a plus. Because
Well, there are interruptions, Harriet. I mean, there are unequivocally interruptions, at least on my end, and I think on your end, because even today, because you're working from home today, and even though I was in the office, I was still calling you about this or that, and you were trying to do stuff, and you still get interruptions, right?
Yeah, but
I mean, if it's not me, so, sometimes, I mean, you'll get calls from board members and whatnot, and the public.
not as often.
Yeah, no, it's not unequivocally, it's not as often. Particularly because we don't route. I mean, just so you know, yeah, I generally try, when I'm in the office, I generally try to have all calls routed to my cell phone. Because like if I do step out, which happens, a lot. Yeah, I didn't do it the other day when I was meeting with the BP, and the BP, this never came up at all during my meeting with the BP on Tuesday. So
Chris,
that's all
you
I
got
see,
anything?
Chris.
I agree with you guys if you gotta be hybrid, because one day, no matter what, either the COVID's gonna be around or not, it's gonna be just like the flu. So no matter what, you gotta be at work 9 to 5. But I agree with whatever it was said so far, that, if necessary, if it helps, we can do hybrid, meaning at least one day we can do it, or 2 days we can do it working from home in rotation. It's understandable with 2 people in the office. I mean, if it's necessary that way, even though that I believe so far the office has been open. I mean, with the exception of 1 or 2 days that, it happened that either I was in the field or Jeremy was in the field or Harriet was somewhere outside doing something else. I mean, when it comes to whatever it's necessary. So, but if it comes to the point, because I believe that the job has been done as per requirements, if it happens about answering the phone, even there might be 2 people in the office, it doesn't mean the phone's going to be picked up at 100%. I mean, that's why, thank God, was created a voicemail. If anything, not only we get the voicemail, we can listen from the phone when you're in the office at the moment if we are not present, but also we can do it. At least I get phone calls, and Jeremy will get the phone calls and hear it. That it's registered in our laptops. It says that, for example, anonymous person at this number left you a message, and I can listen to the message through the laptop, whatever it is, and call back, return the calls. So either way, still the job is done. With a
I
few
check the
exceptions.
voicemails a couple of times a day, even when I'm not in the office, because for whatever reason, someone had to step out of the office so that the calls are always checked.
Okay,
I
very
don't
good.
think it's really a matter of how well you are doing your job. I think it's just a matter of a lot of the city offices are trying to get back to normal, meaning prior to the pandemic. I know the mayor's office, my friend works at the mayor's office, and she had hip surgery and she was asked to go back after a rehabilitation full time. So a lot of the city offices are trying to get back to being full time again. I might at one point this may be out of our hands. It may be mandated. We definitely don't have an issue with how well you guys are doing your jobs. It's not about that. It's more so trying to appease the BP's office and still give you guys a little bit of a hybrid option until we no longer have that option.
And Harriet, if you don't mind saying this, so like again, because even though I don't have a gas vehicle anymore, it's still I notice the difference when I'm going in a lot, with my electric bill. And Harriet, you pay for cabs to
Yes.
go into the
Yes,
office. Do
I
you
had to
not?
get rid of my car, so I pay for a cab to take me back and forth.
And again, it's while inflation is high, hopefully it's not going to stay this way. Yeah. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, so
When it comes to
I
inflation,
was asked,
I'm impacted also. I mean, actually the most, probably, based on whatever we earn. But at the end of the day, if it's mandated to go back, they don't care either you drive electric or you fly via helicopter. It's your problem. They're going to say we need 9 to 5. You
Yeah.
deal with
Yep.
it like used to be before.
Yeah.
So
No, unequivocally. I'm
agree
just
with that.
saying.
I agree with the hybrid. Whatever is decided for the hybrid, you guys decide. That's fine.
so the VP's office asked me this back in September, and I've been holding off just to see how things go and if there's any changes to it. But no, like everyone's saying, I think we're going back to normal. So I think it's a good start with what we've discussed so far. Just want to give the public an opportunity. This is going to be the gallery session before we go into executive session. Any of the committee members have anything to add before I go to the gallery?
No, I was just going to say that I understand all of their points of views. It's the same thing with the city agency that I work for too, which is one of the things that why people sometimes are objecting to going back to the office full time. It is that we're going into the future where it's easier and it's more convenient, and it does save you money traveling on the train, taxi, Uber, driving, gas, tolls. It does save. So you are saving money by doing some type of hybrid or working from home option. So all those issues have been brought up to the mayor's office, even with this city agency that I work for, and it's like they don't really care.
Yeah.
The point is they want people to get back in the office. They want to show a face that people is going back to normal. They want to show this narrative that people companies are suffering because people are working from home, but at the same time people are saving money working from home. But once you go in, now the businesses are making money because now you're renting, now you're buying food. So it's like it's a catch 22. It's a you mess up if you do, you mess up if you don't. So it's strange, but the future is coming where people are going to work from remote. It's going to happen sooner or later. I don't think that I think it's a pipe dream that they're thinking that it's going to go back to normal where people are working from home. I mean, working um in the office. I think it's going to change. Changing in the private industry is going to start hitting the city agencies sooner or later. But the hybrid option is still a good option to me, where you work remotely twice a week. At least if you're able to save some money working from home twice a week, and in the office three times a week. That's all I have to say.
So I just want to concur too with what Harriet said about the ability to focus, right? Like even though so like when I'm not in the office, but I'm there, I had to step out and I have the calls routed to my phone, and half the time they're just garbage calls, they're telemarketers. The very first call I got this morning, you know, um, right before I got in was, I logged in and had it routed and it was a garbage call. It's a really big sticking point right now with the union. I know the unions are trying to settle a contract with the mayor's office, and this is the sticking point, is the work from home thing. And it's not just that, but it's the private sector that the city is competing for, because I constantly know people, law departments losing lawyers to the private sector. And I know somebody who lives near me who used to work for the Parks Department, and he left his position just for the ability to work from home, same pay. So, yeah, I think, yeah, I said enough. Thank you, though.
All right, let's go to the gallery session. We have Anoni.
I think
would you like
Robert
to
Press
say?
I think Robert Press had his hands up. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I was just
think
going to go
so.
down the list of people
Oh,
who
got you.
are on
Got
the
you.
call. If they want to say anything, I'll give them a couple of seconds to respond.
Okay, yeah. So, Yahe, am I timing people with this one also?
Let's do it. Oral, can I hand it off to you then, if you're okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay, excellent. So I'll hand off the gallery session to you. You can time them. We'll give them 2 minutes.
Yeah, I had to see the name of the people on the gallery session. I'm not sure who's first. You want to tell me who's first, and then I'll.
Sure.
But
I have Anoni.
Yes, hello there. This is Roxanne Delgado. I like to state, please, I like a 30-second warning. I like to say from the comments I heard from your
Wait,
staff.
Roxanne, hold on. Is it Roxanne or Inoni?
It's
Yahe?
Roxanne. I just identified my name, Roxanne Delgado.
I understand. Oh, I see. Your name is spelled differently.
It doesn't have to be,
I see. No, I was confused, Roxanne. It's just it looks.
okay.
It said one.
No worries. Can you give me a 30-second warning, please?
You got it. No worries.
Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
So I was saying, I was listening to the comments of your staff, and it was mostly about their perspective of themselves, how this will be remotely will be better for them, for many of the reasons why they stated being more focused. But we have to look at the perspective of how it affects the public that actually pays their salary. And many companies, including Goldman Sachs, now require their workers to go back to the office full time. And once in a while, they give them like remote Fridays as a benefit. But it's now most companies and even the city want workers back to the office because they have been seeing that they're less productive when they're working at home and there's no oversight. They could be sleeping, they could be eating, hanging out with friends. I mean, it's human nature if they can get away with something when there's no oversight, which is why we have managers to oversee employees. I'm not going to compare this to McDonald's, but McDonald's, they can't have their employees working remotely. You are a service unit. You have to provide services to the community, not just listening to a voicemail. Someone wants to walk into your office to discuss something with you, to show you some papers they need to decipher for, to answer the questions. I mean, you have to have your doors open to the public. And there has been many times where I call and they go straight to voicemail. And many people said the same thing. Oh, why call that office? All it does is go straight to voicemail. This is the sentiment of the public, not just myself, that Committee Board 11 doesn't pick up their phone. And I actually saw one of your staff member driving. And when I said to him, when I saw him, I said, wait, look, no one picked up the phone. He said, oh yeah, I was the only one in the office. So basically you don't have people picking up the phone. So I think for the sake of the public as well, it's not just for the staff, but how does this serve the public, whether it's hybrid, remotely, or mandate full time? Thank you.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's questioned we definitely need to be there for the public. I don't think anybody's questioned that, for what it's worth. Oral, you're right. Your turn.
All right. Well,
No, you're right. I mean, I agree with you, Jeremy, that you want to be there for the public, and the public has to be able to access you. But I think that working remotely, I think there's some misnomer. I don't know. Roxanne may have some points here and there, but I know the point about less productive is not really accurate. some people have been found to be more productive. So it's a debatable point, but I do understand that point. Okay, y'all. Hey, who's next?
Diana
All right, we
Finch
have
had her.
Cynthia. Okay, I was just going to go down the list in alphabetical order.
Yep. Good.
Cynthia,
Cynthia? A 30-second warning, okay, Cynthia? But I think you're muted. I can't hear you.
If I raised my hand, that was accidental. I was driving. I just got home.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Diana Finch.
Yes, hi. I'm working in industry that's extremely remote publishing, and most of the work is done by phone or by email. And I find that if I call somebody on the phone and they don't pick up, maybe it's more convenient for them and for me to send them an email instead. But I wanted to comment that I think you said you wanted it to be each person works 3 days a week and you always have 2 people in the office. But if you have 5 weekdays and 3 people, the numbers don't work out. There's one day where you would only have 1 person in the office.
It's gonna be a rotation, Diane.
Yeah, I think.
I know.
It could work out. I mean,
No, it can't. Just
well, I know,
you
no,
know,
I
do
know, I know
X,
you're
Y,
doing.
and
I know
Z
you're doing by
and
math. I know you're doing by math, but
assign
they'll have
X 3
rotations.
spots and Z 3 spots and Y 3 spots,
Math.
and you end up with one day where you just have 1 person.
And that could be Friday. If it turns out to be that way, we can make that on Fridays.
Well, I mean, we'll pitch around ideas. I don't know if we want to do that here because we're running out of time. I mean, I have an idea, but yeah, no, we'll figure something out. That's not a problem.
The Friday will be the off day. Okay, Diane.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll move to the next person. Dwayne Williams.
No comments.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Robert Press.
I have something completely different to speak about. Okay, and tell me when I should start.
Okay, Robert, you can
Okay.
start now.
As said at the October 20th Executive Committee Board meeting, item 3, board member absences. Chair Obeid spoke on the commitment of being a board member and the importance of attending committee meetings, but he left out full board meetings. In the CB11 bylaws on page 2, Article 3, Section 4, removal. An appointed member may be removed from Community Board 11 for cause by a majority of appointed members of the board. Cause may include, but is not limited to, absences from meetings between July 1 and June 30th of each fiscal year, specifically from number 1, 3 non-excused consecutive absences or 5 total absences from full board meetings. And then the other one says committee meetings. The November full board minutes show that one CB11 member, Cynthia Contreras, has missed the Tuesday, September 22nd, October 27th, and November 17th full Community Board 11 meetings. I'd like to know why this, in the past, that this has been brought up here, and it's not on tonight's agenda, that you have a member who has missed 3 consecutive full board meetings and is not going to be asked to be removed from the board. Can I have an answer?
Yes. Jeremy, we communicated with that member, I think, recently, and she gave us a response, and that's why we're holding off, at least for now.
Or is it because she's the head of one of the hospitals and is a friend of a certain person who's in the borough president's office?
Well, you asked me to answer your question. We're working on getting you an answer. So
Yeah, wait a second. Robert, are you finished? Because you have 30 seconds remaining.
Fine. No, I'm finished. That's it. I'm finished.
Okay, great. Go ahead, Yahya. I'm sorry.
We did notify the board member. They gave us the reason why they could not attend. And for the time being, I decided not to add it to today's agenda and to discuss it further in next month's meeting. So thank you for that. We do have it. We know. We notified the member. We received a response from the member. They intend to stay on the board. They gave us very good, legitimate reasons. And you'll have more information in the next meeting.
Very good, guy.
All right.
Thanks.
So that's that for the gallery session. So we would like to discuss the raises, which is the second item on the agenda, but I'd like to do that in executive session because it will involve discussing personal matters of staff members. So before we, does anyone have anything else before we go into executive session? Once we go into executive session, we will be there for a few minutes. We're going to try to make it quick before 7 o'clock. We will come back to end the meeting here.
Just
yeah.
to clarify, I will lock the meeting and I will put everybody who's not on the executive board or whoever the executive board does not want in the session. I mean, if you want call-in staff members or whoever, fine. But I'll put them in the lobby. So you won't be kicked out. Once it's over, you'll be let back in. You won't have that problem. Cynthia has her hand raised, just so you're aware.
I do just have one quick question as far as what constitutes an excused absence, and does it have to coincide? Let's say I miss a meeting tomorrow. Would I have to notify the board tomorrow or beforehand, or is it kind of like, oh, after I've missed a meeting a day or two later, I say, oops, sorry, I missed it because of this? Is there any kind of rule as far as that's concerned?
Just before the meeting, if let's say you got caught up with work, something happened at work, just send the chair or Jeremy a text letting them know that you have an excuse and what that excuse is, so we can mark you down as excused. But even excused absences do count against the person. But when they're brought up for absences, they can explain their case and say, this is why, this is how it happened before, and the board will decide if the person remains or not, the member remains or not.
My recommendation, Cynthia, is send an email, because you can text me, you can call me, because you know how busy I am. I may forget, or Yahe, it's not like he's not busy either. It's the chair. Most importantly, you want to stay in consultation with the chair of the committee and or staff, because we can always relay that to the chairperson or the chairman of the board. But usually when it comes to the full board, it's usually easier just to communicate with the staff. But ideally, you send an email. That's for documentation purposes. It's easier to refer to an email than it is to a text message or a verbal conversation.
Duly noted.
Point of
And
information, Mr. Chairman.
For the committee meetings, you want to notify the chair in advance, maybe the day before, because we've had times where the chair of the committee is there and they're by themselves. There's no one else there. And if the chair of the committee had known that they weren't going to have a quorum, they probably would have canceled the meeting. So just to have a more effective and respect everybody's time.
Sure.
Point of information, Mr. Chair. Are you voting on the raises now, or are you going to just suggest to the full board who votes on it?
We will go into executive session, have a discussion. If we decide to vote on it tonight, we will come back. We will come out of executive session, vote, and then we will vote on it at the full board.
Thank you, because you know that the full board has to vote on it. Thank you.
Correct. All right, Jeremy, take it away. I guess you'll put everybody in a waiting room.
So you got to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss a personnel history of staff members. And then
Yep, so motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel matters of community board staff. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second.
All right. Discussion or objections? Abstentions? All right. We will go into executive session. We'll try to make it as quick as possible so we can end by 7 p.m.
So I'll just note the time because we have to note the time we go into executive session. That was voted on at 6:45 p.m.
Yes.
I'm locking the meeting. I'm stopping the recording. I'm going to stop the live